Hi, my name is Sam Price, the Crypto Lifer, and every single Friday afternoon, I give you the macro technical analysis video where we go over Bitcoin, the NASDAQ, the S&P, gold, the dollar. We also look at Bitcoin dominance, Tether dominance, and the total market cap of all of crypto and the altcoins. Jump in with me right now so you don't get stuck in the small time frames and you can zoom out and see what's happening on the bigger ones. Let's take a look at what's happening here for BTC and jump on in. Thank you for being here with me today on this beautiful Friday. First thing we're going to look at is Bitcoin on the monthly chart. And what we'd like to see is Bitcoin close a green monthly candle. However, it is, despite being red right now, showing signs of what's called hidden bullish divergence, where you have an uptrend in price, but a downtrend on the RSI. You also have a stochastic that's headed towards the dotted line. And then if you pull wick to wick, you should be getting a 786 retracement. And you kind of already got that. And you're right there now in between the 786 and the 618 golden pocket. Interesting place to be. And you have this supported 82,550 for Bitcoin, where we have this tweezer bottom on the monthly. So despite all the bearishness and all the times that we got the sell-offs and all the insane stuff that happened with the rate hike and, the bearish tones before the rate hike, the Bank of Japan and all the doom and gloom coming our way, Bitcoin really has still held a higher low here. You can see there's a high, there's a low, there's a high, there's a higher low, there's a higher high, there's a higher low. Technically is in an uptrend on the monthly. Again, it could make a right shoulder. It could break. If we see the monthly close below, if the monthly candle closes below 82.55, I'll submit that the trend is over on the bigger time frame. But until then, there is, even though the trend seems to be broken on the daily, the monthly seems to be in more control. And the monthly says that we still have somewhat of an uptrend. So there's your hopium copium. If you're super bearish or you can't see any hope, there's your hopium copium, right? 5-day chart is attempting to put in the work. What I don't love is the 5-day chart, to me, is still has a probability of making a bear flag. And it's just been basically ranging between these two zones, and the 21 could come touch it, and then it could just dump, right? And we could see, $57,000 Bitcoin. So that's, I just showed you, wow, a bunch of bullishness. And again, like I showed you, the monthly would have to close below 82.50. This 5-day candle would have to close below 79,000, right? Wherever you see a tweezer bottom on a big time frame, you'd have to close a candle below that first. You could wick down and all that fun stuff. And then you look here on the daily. And I think the smart idea on the daily is to pull this up, show that we were in somewhat of a, ascending triangle here. This also has that same bear flag, which the measured move is to, right down there to about 58, 59, 57,000. And to me, to be real bullish, you got to break back above this trend line. And if you really want to be bullish, you got to break back above 94,000. We hit it so many times and got rejected by it. So right now, we could still just be bearishly retesting on the daily, and we could be ended up going lower, right? So there's two scenarios here. We've bottomed out. The argument for a bottom is this fear and greed was at 10 and 11. And honestly, that's been a bottom every single time I've seen it, especially when the 2-week chart's super oversold. I showed you the hidden bullish divergence on the monthly. Many times that has given a bottom, but there still could be some more downside before we actually fully bottom out. There's a chance this is a kind of a cup and that's a handle. There's a cup and handle. There's a chance this is a double bottom. You can see, you raise this level here. Bitcoin did not close a daily candle below 84 or 5. And today we may close a bullish engulfing, but now you have a wick to the downside, right? It's a very confusing market. It's low volume, and there's a lot of stop hunting going on liquidity with leverage too. So be careful trading. The last 2 weeks of the year are never great. It's never usually a good sign to make. I'm going to make all my wins, all my losses back the last 2 weeks of the year. It's usually a setup for disaster. I'm not saying I want to be open-minded and let everyone believe anything can happen to any trader, which is possible, but there's also probability and realistic mathematical probabilities. And the last 2 weeks of the year are realistically not probable to be the best. They're tight, they're low volume, and a lot of people get wrecked trading them. So just be very, very careful. You need the daily candle, in my mind, to get back inside the pattern, to turn this into some type of inverted head and shoulder, and to make it, right? You want to see the 1 hour get back above the 200 moving average. You want to see this flag here that's forming on the 1 hour breakout. It's kind of important. We're getting very close today on the 1 hour, the 15. You want to see this get tight and break out. We're sick of getting rejected by the 200. We need a break above the 200 and get a big move up to 94K. That would be the first step. Then we can go from there. And that's kind of your macro and a little bit of like what has to happen to blend into the daily, right? And then you want to see that daily get back above this trend line. You want to see us head back to the top of this channel. And then from there, we can take it one step, one candle at a time. Right now, we're having resistance at 88K for Bitcoin. So that's your macro analysis for BTC. Let's take a look at the total market cap in all of cryptocurrency. It's in the same exact scenario. Like I see this bear flag, the drop down would take you somewhere to 2.41 trillion. And, I want it is somewhat double bottoming from here to there. And I want to see it get back above this level. And there's a chance, look at it. That is a double bottom, very strong. And we could be back up here rocking and rolling and just, a couple days from now. So it's interesting, but it's also like that, nobody knows. We'd have to close a candle back above the 200 moving average. This trend line has to stay intact on the 3-day. Let's take a look at it on the weekly. On the weekly, same story, kind of. You could say you lost this low, but there's a bigger trend there. So we have two scenarios. Everyone says we're in a bear market. I believe we're in a bear market. Why? Whenever you're below the daily 200 moving average for more than a month, that's a bear market for me. So to me, we're in a bear market. We could push up and get out of the bear market, but right now we're in a bear market. You got to get back above 3.21 trillion, which is really that $94,000 Bitcoin. So the smart trader, like the low risk trader, would wait. The high risk trader opens along right now and sees you catch the bottom. The low risk trader waits to see if we can get back inside the pattern, get back above 94,000 to long. You see, we just observe. Because if that happens, right, the bulls are going to start to in control. You could probably trade this range back to the point of control. Otherwise, it's a bearish retest and we're going lower. I would assume we're going lower because Bitcoin's in a downtrend on the daily, you see? The bulls are going to have to flip the trend. And so you could wait for the trend to change and a retest of the trend to be safe, or you can go, willy-nilly. Again, that's up to you. I am not a financial advisor. Depending on how good I've traded that month or what I'm looking at or what the risk is, I do either. It just depends. The daily does look oversold, and it's looking like we may get a push back to the upside. You have to keep that in the back of your mind. If the 1 hour gets above the 200, that's going to help you figure this out. Remember, time frames bend into each other. Let's take a look at Total 3, which is the entire market cap of all of cryptocurrency, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And it's kind of the same story. I was looking for it to break down out of the flag. It did that. It fell down. So we got that first. Then we got the bump, but we got bullish divergence. Again, rejection right on the 3-day 200 moving average. And it's been this way the whole time, you see? We've just been super tight. Super tight. And can this break back to the upside, back to the top of the pattern, right? Bang, bang, bang. So we're looking to see this kind of cup and handle, higher low. If you close 3-day candle down below this trend line, you're going to drop down for a double bottom at 698, right? So there's a chance we bounce, everyone. It's not all bearish. There's still some hopium in the air, but it's, and again, it's that same story here. I would draw this like this. I would say we fell out of the pattern, and I'd say to be safe, we got to get back inside. Otherwise, we are going to fall bearishly to the downside. Closing a tweezer bottom today would change it and give us a chance for this to be an inverted head and shoulder that could inverse back to the upside, right? Let's take a look at the Bitcoin dominance. How much money is flowing in and out of Bitcoin, right? And right now you can see if Bitcoin starts to steam up again, people will start to get into Bitcoin, and that's going to rev up. And again, even if we have alt season, first the thing that's going to happen is Bitcoin revs up a little bit. So you want to see Bitcoin rev up slightly. The daily looks like it's just making a right shoulder, and it's going to dump. You see? And, so Bitcoin has good dominance, but can some money flow back in? It actually looks pretty confusing. Let's zoom out and look at the weekly. So you have resistance at 61.3. You've got some support here, but it looks like you're making a right shoulder and you're getting overbought. Agreed? You could make this. You could attempt to make the argument you're going to consolidate here, but you'd have to bounce. It looks more like you have resistance right there, and you're right shouldering to the downside. We're going to look at ETH Bitcoin to see how that looks. If ETH Bitcoin looks bullish, that's a pretty good sign. We might get the move down to the 200 moving average here for Bitcoin dominance. Let's look at tether dominance. We want to see them both dropping if there's going to be any hope for altcoins. Interesting. The weekly is overbought. We did look at this flag. We were like, we don't want to see this flag break out. Hey, it's got a nice bearish div on tether dominance. So it tells me, people tethered up, but with gold ripping, it's like, why would you? Gold's ripping and you're going to tether up. Like it's just kind of strange, right? Gold's ripping and you're going to tether up. The S&P look like, if anything, you can now use tether to trade the S&P, right? And there's more tokenization. So people could be using tether to trade everything now, right? That's an interesting concept I haven't even thought about. So like I could right shoulder and start to make a move down. 21's far away. That looks to me like tether dominance is starting to drop, which is a good sign for Bitcoin. Let's take a look at the DXY, which has also been dumping, right? And we said it's going to drop out this flag. It looks interesting. It has this one stopover, but I see it just continuing to fall, at least down to 968, right? Right here, 96.7, 96.75. So I see the DXY continuing its tumble to the downside all the way till it gets down to 92. Pretty awesome. And now I also want to show you gold. Gold is very bullish. I have a trade on gold. We got in. It's still ripping. It's on BTCC. You can trade gold on BTCC. You can see this trade is up. I put $1,800 in. It's up $800, 42%. I see gold headed to 54. That will make $11,000 off of $1,800. An amazing come up. So again, it may not happen. I'm in it. We'll see. I'm going to move my stop to break even as soon as I can and continue to pump. But I have a trade here live going on gold. You could join BTCC in the description below. We have a link to it if you would like to trade gold. All right. Sign up today. I do receive a commission. I'd greatly appreciate it. So gold looks nice to me. I like what gold's doing. Silver also in a bit of a huge pump. Silver's getting pushed. And, I've been seeing this pump for silver. We called it too. You can see this flag was going to break out. We gave it to you the last time we talked about it. I believe it was even last week here. And silver is continuing to do damage. I mean, look at this thing breaking out and continuing to pump. I see it headed to the target there at 69, but eventually it is going to pull back, right? At 69, I would expect some type of sideways price action or a pullback. And even now, if I was looking to get into silver, I'd look for some type of flag on the 1 hour time frame to help me kind of maneuver my way into this trade. And again, we can move our targets further over now. So silver looking bullish. I see it headed to 69, and we were talking about silver back there too at 58. It's been ripping. I think I even talked about it right there at 50. So, and I've been stacking silver for years. It's amazing to see the physical silver I own absolutely ripping to the upside. That's awesome. Last but not least, we like to look at the S&P futures and show you that I've been extremely bullish since I called the reversal on a Friday update, just like this one on 11/21 right there Friday. I said, watch for this to reverse, come up. I drew this inverted head and shoulder for you. I even gave the call with a stop loss below there. You're still in that call from back then. I'm giving another call for the S&P basically in this time area in the next 5 to 7 days. Looks like we can make an entry, stop below the point of control, and we can ride the S&P to a new all-time high of 76,681 as the S&P is very close and made a new all-time high, right? I believe, yeah, since we were last, the 12th, we were here on the 12th. Wow, yeah. So we made an all-time high, then we dipped a little bit. I see a new one coming for the S&P, and it's the exact same story for the NASDAQ. I see these beautiful, beautiful consolidations, and the NASDAQ pumping hard today on the Bank of Japan cutting rates and having no effect on our markets, and, it just, you can see they're going to have to print more money throughout the world to keep it moving. That's bullish for these stocks. It's bullish for Bitcoin. It's bullish for risk on assets. And I just like what I'm seeing so far. That looks like we could have a massive pump on the NASDAQ. Last thing, like I told you, is ETHBTC. If that is gaining, that's a little secret nugget we want to be watching. If that is starting to gain, so let's take a look at ETHBTC on the bigger picture. I had it already, but I just want to really let it seep in. So right here, you can see it's making a bit of a cup and handle. And it's breaking out with a bit of a retest back to the top of the channel. That's interesting. It tells me that there's some strength there, at least, right? And you can see that it did break out of the bigger falling wedge. 3-day chart, it's a little overbought, so it's struggling. It doesn't look amazing right now, I have to be honest. I'd like to see it breaking out, but it could possibly make a bottom here and then start to get its move back up. I want to look at SOLBTC, see if that's doing anything, just in case. Nope, nothing crazy. So Bitcoin's still in control. It doesn't look like you're getting any huge alt season just yet. It's going to have Bitcoin first and then the move. But That is your top-down analysis for the macro for Bitcoin. I do this every single week. If you like what you saw, know I go live every single day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. I also do an impromptu live stream on the morning on the weekends. And that's about 9 live streams a week. So come on in, get the education. You can also sign up to my course, which I teach live the last Saturday of every month. This will be the last time I do it at the end of this year before we kind of change it up. So jump on in, take advantage. I can't wait to see you on the next live stream. Go to cryptolifer.com to find out more. And if you came to the channel, then you're already doing the right thing. Crypto is life. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Thank you.